一つ聞かせな。できるのかい本当に。
土はある、鉄はある。それなら考えるべきことは一つだけよ、ベルフ。あなたの炎は燃えている？
決まってんだろ。
So this was another really great episode of DanMachi, and one of the things that really was solidified for me is I freaking love Aisha. Aisha is such a powerhouse, and even Lily recognized at this episode that Aisha was like a real leader this episode by ganking up everybody, really gathering the information, and really kind of putting everybody under a veil of 1% potential of Belle being, alive out there, but trying to make sure that nobody loses their focus on what they were trying to accomplish. Because regardless, at the end of the day, I think what Aisha really recognized is regardless if Belle is alive or he isn't alive, the fact remains they need to get to the lower floors, they need to get to the safety point, and they need to wait till the dungeon heals itself so that they can go back out, the way. But they need to get to that safety point so that they can rest and really recover and get back to as close to 100% as they can. Wait for the dungeon to recover and then get the hell out of there. The fact of the matter doesn't change. It's just the motivation that they have to make it. You don't want, they kind of said something very specific, like, oh, we're kind of a party that has one foot in the grave. And part of that, being ever closer, that foot being even deeper into that grave, is the lack of confidence of Belle potentially being alive. So instilling a little fire back in them of his potential to maybe still be out there. They might, at the end of the day, they might find a corpse. We know for sure Belle's alive, but at the end of the day, they don't know though. So it's like, they might find a corpse, but at the same time, they could find him still alive and breathing kind of thing. So it's like that, for her to kind of gather everybody, I was like, man, what a gal. Definitely loved it quite a bit. I think there's three other things that I really want to call out this episode. And I'll go in order. The first one is the Austria Familia. I touched on it last week. Ever since the beginning of part 2, I've been very concerned with how they were going to depict the Austria Familia. I was like, hopefully they do not dedicate too much time to a family that is no longer in existence, to characters that are dead. You know what I mean? I think that the way that they are doing it is very tasteful, right? They have Ryu remembering little things, as she's endangering things, recalling things, and then in this case, in this specific scene, she was dreaming about, a past scene that occurred right before they went into the dungeon and met their demise. And I was like, okay, this is a really good way for them to do it. Because, again, like I said, personally, I don't care about the Familia. You know what I mean? I don't care to get closer or know characters that simply just don't exist in the core anime anymore. So for me, I was concerned on how that was going to happen. But I think they've done it very tastefully. And, they're doing it in a way to where I can still, okay, I get some knowledge, some familiarity, but it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's just enough. I'm like, okay, they're doing it very tastefully, so I really appreciate that. The other thing that happened is the Skull Sheep were attacking again. Thankfully, I don't know if they went to go gather their buddies or they just were afraid of Belle in that moment, but regardless, they went out. Then we saw the eye patch lady and her party, and it seems like they're gonna, they're going to go and try and help as well. So that was a 2 thumbs up. Then the next thing that we had, kind of going in order, the second call out that I had was, the party ganging together and then them finding Master Boars, the Mr. One Eye guy, Mr. Scarface. They found Master Boars, which was really good. They got him in a good place. So now they have somebody who, he was able to depict exactly what happened on the lower floor, the monster that came there and everything else. So, it was good. They were able to find somebody there. Crazy the amount of monsters that were spawning. And my guess is because they're running away. They kept saying, oh, these Kelpie, these different monsters that were spawning, the big, what is it, not a whale. What is it, I don't even know, like a seal or whatever the monster is. They were just spawning, and I think it's because they're running away out of fear of the real big dungeon calamity that was there. So that's basically why these monsters are there, which is interesting. And then the last piece, Welf is getting his time to shine in the spotlight, and I love how he called, is it Hephaestus? Is that his girl, Hephaestus? Well, I like how he remembered, like, hey, if you have a fire, if you have materials, a fire, and a hammer, and your heart, you can forge anywhere. And I like how he thankfully brought his materials in preparation, and I like how he's getting his moment in the spotlight. And it was definitely a call out when he found that ore too. He's like, oh, this is lower floor ore. I was like, yeah, take it. And he did, thankfully. So now he's going to be able to build them some magic swords. Seemed like a little piece of it, but maybe you only need little pieces of it to be able to build magic swords. I don't know how he's going to work it out, but it seems like they're in a place to where, there's enough material to where he can make it happen. So very excited to see what comes of that as well, and very excited to see him get his moment in the spotlight, in the mainstay, because I really think he's going to be able to pull something out of his ass on this one. And it's really interesting to see. So this episode overall was really a setup for, kind of the next episode. And even the next episode might be a setup for what comes next. I think next episode might be them fight. It might be Belle and Ryu maybe moving a little bit. And then it might be just them protecting Welf through crazy hordes of enemies and things that end up coming. So next episode might also be a setup for the next thing when they actually begin like making their way down to the 27th floor. So we might get this episode along with next episode might be set up as well, but I'm excited for next episode because I can kind of see the writing on the wall of what it's going to give us, and I'm like, yes, I really like Welf quite a bit. So I like when a lot of the different characters in the Familia get to have like their little moment to shine. I think it's really good. So overall, I'm excited for what's going to come. But yeah, this episode, really, really good. Really enjoyed it quite a bit. It felt really quick. And usually, for the most part, that's a really good sign of episodes that are really good. It's like, yo, this over already? So definitely one of those episodes to keep in mind informationally as we go forward. Let me know what you guys thought. What did you guys think about this episode down in the comments below? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you feel like it was fine? Let me know in the comments below. If you have nothing to say, drop me an emoji just so I know that you were here. That just helps the YouTube algorithm gods let me know that we're doing good work over here. And my friends, I shall see you guys next week for episode 5 of part 2. All right, peace.